We'll call it 6 o'clock. I want to welcome the administration and the public and the newspaper and everybody to a board meeting, April board meeting. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance and prayer. Please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Let me pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day, and thank you for those that are here tonight. May we make wise decisions for our church, for our school as we go forward, be with our superintendent and our teachers, and keep them safe with the students and through the COVID and all the pandemic. And just thank you for the grace and mercy you show us each day. Amen.
Amen. Oh. Yes, you'll have. Well, no, we gotta do, I'm sorry.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll start with public participation, comments.
All right, tonight we have two people speaking. We have Ms. Sherry Shepherd and Ms. Fortman. Ms. Shepherd, you can go first. Keep in mind, everyone, it's a 3-minute limit. And the time starts, Ms. Shepherd, when you start.
Go to that, Jake.
Good evening. My name is Sherry Shepherd, and I have been a parent and taxpayer in the Cleveland community for more than 30 years. Although my youngest daughter has graduated, I still have several grandchildren in the system, and I have a deep desire for all students to excel at high levels in the Cleveland School District. I was compelled to come and address this board after listening during the March 15th school board meeting where you discussed having Chromebook devices in storage, but had decided not to provide those devices to needy students. I find this decision quite disturbing considering this district's tagline is learning is essential for all. If learning were essential, this district would do everything possible to support learning and not make it difficult for students and for their parents. It is hard to conceive you're considering the full ramifications of your actions contributing to students' learning loss. Consequently, you are positioning students for failure rather than success. Research confirms that it takes 3 years to overcome 1 year of ineffective instruction. Just imagine the harm you are causing by not providing resources that our students so desperately need. Let me say that my complaints to this board are not personal. They involve a deep desire to assure educational equity in a system with a century-old history of not providing equity to its black students. I currently facilitate virtual school for 4 of my 5 grandchildren in the Cleveland School District. The parents of 2 of my grandchildren elected to homeschool their children due to the many issues they experienced and seeking a free, appropriate public education in the Cleveland School District. Many other parents made the decision to do the same. While the Cleveland School District has never been at its best, I can certainly attest that the past 2 years have been among the worst. I attribute this assessment to leadership embodied by this school board and by this superintendent. There are several issues that time will not allow me to discuss. But the first issue that I want to discuss is that of trust. We need honest leaders who are committed to doing the best for every child in this school district. And the evidence indicates that we don't have that here. We lack resources. Our students lack resources. I find it disheartening for you to deny resources and put them in storage when the government has given you the money to provide those resources to students. That makes no sense, considering we have 7 of 8 of our schools, they are Title I schools. Of those seven Title I schools, 4 of them are 100% poverty ratio percentage. Of those 8 schools that we have, 5 of those 8 are D schools. And of the D schools, many of them were F schools prior to that time. I encourage you to look at the things that you are doing to prevent kids from excelling. I won't be able to elaborate on the other issues that I wanted to discuss, but pre-K is one of equity that I definitely want to mention. It's not only disheartening that you would deny pre-K students throughout this district that resource, but to deny it to our most affluent kids, give it to the affluent kids and deny it to the ones who need it the most, you're dealing with the same legal issues, that 100-year-old practice of discriminating against your needy black kids. Consider those comments, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
The next public comment we have is Saber Fulton. It's gonna be hard to follow that. Back again. All right, are you ready? Okay. All right. I appreciate the board members who made an effort to reach out to me when I reached out to them. However, all I've heard are excuses. Unprecedented times like COVID, I understand. However, good leaders seek solutions, whereas bad leaders make excuses. All I have heard are excuses from the superintendent and from the board. In ways, I'm thankful for the January debacle, which was the decision to cut the 3K and 4K classes, because it opened eyes to what has been going on for a long time. Members of our community who have felt disenfranchised and felt like their voices aren't being heard by a board who listens to them but does not respond to them and does not acknowledge them and does not open their meetings and their records in a way that are accessible, but close them down with high costs for copies and hurdles that they cannot jump through. As with regards to pandemic management, there has been no cohesive plan. There's been no plan since last March. My children did, thanks to their school, had a plan in place. However, the school district did not have a plan that was at least apparent to parents in the district going forward. And now we're patching holes in a sinking ship with teaching coaches, central office assistants, dismanaged administrators, and we're running off good administrators. We're running off good teachers. I'll be interested to know how many teaching positions y'all will be responsible for filling this next year, and how many of them are just going to be warm bodies because you can't find good ones who want to come to this district. You are disenfranchising families, and worst of all, students who most need early childhood intervention. You have families, many of whom I go to church with, who are looking for jobs outside. Collectively, just in my church, there are 10 children who are preparing to leave this district because their parents are looking for jobs because they want them in a public school system, but they have lost faith and trust in our school system because of the way the 4K situation has been handled. Whether it's out of your hands, your communication has frankly been abysmal. I've heard that we'll try to provide overflow classrooms if we can, but shouldn't we have an administration and a school board who's out there promoting early childhood classrooms instead of praying that we won't have enough classes, enough bodies in those classes to make them? Contracts are in place for a reason. They're there to allow you to evaluate a performance and to say at the end of the time that a job was not done or else it's time to move on. When you create contracts that are too long, then you're opening yourself up for having to pay out those contracts. Lastly, I would like to say that at the very least, you should make your superintendent and the people that work in the school district answerable for the choices that they have made. You should hold them to task. If you are going to keep them here, then you should not take everything that they say at face value. You should be a board that is in control of your community and your kids and provide the best resources for them.
Thank you.
Those are the last of the public comments that was on.
All right, we'll move straight into the cabinet update.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's been a long day for us, been here since 2 o'clock in a work session, so I appreciate everybody coming and everybody giving their comments. So I'll jump right into it. to get that and try to put a really big focus on our VOTEC here right now. Trying to get that going. Jamie, if you don't mind, could you give an update on the 3K for us?
Sure, sorry, haven't had dinner, crackers. The 3K, the Attorney General's office, of course, has received the request for an opinion that we asked for several months ago. They do take a little while, but I did speak with the attorney in the office who is helping to handle the situation. She says that the opinion's actually been written and that it will go to committee on Thursday. And so from there, the Attorney General's committee evaluates the opinion and decides whether to approve it or not. And at that point, if it's approved, it will then go to the Attorney General herself, Ms. Fitch, who will then have a chance to look over it. She can veto it, but chances are if the committee approves it, it will be approved by Ms. Fitch, according to my contact. And from there, so we should have an answer, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, on whether we can continue the 3K program as we had it, or whether we need to make adjustments in tuition, because I think, as everybody understands at this point, the issue is how we collect the tuition, not exactly how physically we collect the tuition, but we believe there might be an issue with like how self-sustaining the program has to be. Can the district put forth any of its funds into the program? And that's the issue we want solved. And if we can use other funds, what other funds can we use to supplement tuition from parents? So those are the questions we posed to the AG. How we can continue financially to do the program, because I think, as many of you know, everybody thinks it's a good program in this room. So those were the questions posed, and hopefully we'll have an answer.
Thank you.
Your contact, they give you any, Jamie looks good, Jamie looks bad.
Well, I asked, but she could not. I'll tell you who I spoke with, is B.B. Gerard, who's an attorney at the AG's office, and she's actually lived in Cleveland for a couple of years, and she's a great gal. She can't give me any information other than it's been written, going to committee, and we shall see how the committee fares. But I know as soon as if we get a quick answer here, we'll let everyone know via website and other means of communication. So,
Thanks.
you're welcome.
Next up, we have the business updates by Ms. Kennedy, business manager.
All right, good evening, board and guest community. I'm here to give you the financials for February 2021. Cash on hand for district maintenance was a little 14.6 million. Payroll account had a little 18,000. Accounts payable 1.1 million. Food service had 571,000. Fund balance through February 2021, all funds add up to be about 19.1 million. Last year this time we were about 14.5 million, and it's an increase of about 4 million from last year. District, we're at 12.5 million through February. Last year we were about 9.1 million, and it's an increase of 3.4. Statement of revenues and receipts, we've received 25.7 million through February 2021. Last year this time we received about 22.4 million. It's an increase of about 3.3 million. Statement of expenditures, we've spent about 22.3 million through February. Last year this time we spent about 22.1, so just a little increase of about 183,000.
And that is the,
Just a couple
Yes.
questions before we move forward. So the word on our state funding is what at this point?
State funding, the
Right,
MAEP,
right. Our big chunk of money.
you still get that all the way through June.
No, I'm talking about for next year.
Oh, we haven't gotten it yet.
No word.
No word.
no word officially. Supposedly there's some legislation that's been passed to say that you get an average or some kind of number from your 1920 MAP, but no number has been released. No one's told us anything.
They give you any idea when they're
They
doing it?
have not.
Well, I thought they had the April.
Sometimes it's
They
April
Said
15th
that because
or late April.
to it. We have to let contracts 10 days after that date.
Right.
But they hadn't told us anything.
But contracts are going out, haven't they?
We already good on that.
Are they null and void then?
No,
They won't be null and void, even after the new budget comes out?
no, ma'am. We good. We good. But as soon as we get an update, Mr. Bob, we'll let y'all know something. We'll let everybody know.
That's a very determined factor for budgeting going into next year.
Yes, sir.
Huge factor.
And we've made adjustments just in case. We have adjusted as a district. After talking to different superintendents in different districts around, they're adjusting as well. Yeah, everybody's having the same problem statewide. And if there's no more questions, that's the superintendent's update.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the superintendent update, cabinet update?
I move we approve.
Been moving to second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, get approval of consent agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Get a good second? Been moving to second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Set date and time for next regular board meeting for Monday, May 10th at 6 p.m. Anybody got any conflicts?
I don't see.
All right, can I get a motion to that effect?
Everybody good?
Yep.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second,
May 10th.
May 10th.
6 p.m.
we'll let you know.
I'll make the motion.
Richard made the motion, can I get a second? Tanya seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Claims docket, approved claims docket. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, but I can't get mine to come up. The first thing I was asking about the ACT research. Thank-
Donnie would need
Approved consent. One item.
It's loaded.
We already, Mr. Aaron's already given us an update on those, water bills.
Water bills, he got them corrected with the city.
Okay, now on page one, ACT research, that's a new program that we started, what is that?
That's the ACT work keys curriculum that they did for ACT preparation.
Over at the high school?
At the VOTEC.
Oh,
VOTEC,
okay,
okay.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Do we have two lawn services? We got a Precision and a Delta Escapes. We got two?
Precision, the one that handles our parking lots. Great.
So we do have-
Same company. They, we normally call them out to fill in the hole with gravel,
Okay,
with no lawn service.
okay.
That's just the name of the company.
Just lawn and dirt. It's called Precision
Precision
Lawn.
Lawn and Dirt, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, that's it.
That's it. Anybody else?
Make the motion to approve.
Get a second?
Second.
Been motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Remove from table and approve for request to amend CSD policy MFB student teaching and internship. Policy BD and BDB. Can I get a motion to take it off the table?
So moved.
Get a second?
Second.
And been seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion we approve it. This is our updated policy
Did you
concerning
read it,
student
Jamie?
teaching.
You go with the MOU?
Yes.
Delta State.
I move we approve it.
Second.
Been motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of CSD proposed district calendar for 21-22.
All right, this was a process for our district calendar.
What was the process?
The process was,
Because every year the calendar
it's a big deal.
is.
So we started out with the principals to give them an idea, to let them see all the options. We started out with 3 options. We started at the beginning of August, we started at the middle of August, and we started at the end of August or early September. So we also talked about pros and cons in the meeting. And so after that meeting with the principals, that some other people held for us within the district, Ms. Mullins was in charge of that, and HR, they all did that. And you sat down with the principals, and then it was composed survey. So the composed survey had all 3 calendar options plus the pros and cons of both options. You know, after talking, it was, we start early, short vacation. We start late, get out in June. It was a list. And so it was sent out to every district employee. And so every district employee had a chance to vote. And so the results are up there on the board. Option 1 was the normal start, I think it's August 9th, get out like May 28th. Option 2 would start mid-time in August. Option 3 would start late, early September. So we had 73.8% to vote for option 1. We had 23.3% to vote for option 2. And then we had, so option 1 was the winner. We had 240 responses from the entire district. So we told everyone in the email, we're gonna take the option that you vote for. And so we let it run for 5 days, I believe. Started out on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We ended it on a Wednesday evening. And so we let it run for a while to get as many responses as we could. We ended up getting 240 responses. And so option 1 is the winner with 73.8%. And we will start, students will come back August 9th, teachers will start August 2nd, which is a Monday. So it was a whole process.
What about, in the next school year, when will there be, when's gonna be the recommendation of whether we go all traditional or there is a virtual component to next year? We're gonna get feedback from teachers.
We're gonna try to get some feedback from everybody.
Community teachers,
Yes.
principals.
We're gonna put out a survey, see what we can get and see where we can go from there. We are really hoping to go back as a normal state. I check it every day. As a state, we had 70 cases today, as a reported 0 deaths for COVID. So I try to check it every single day. So we really need our kids back in school.
We need a traditional schedule.
We need them back. So.
And, you know, and I think we need to get that out to the public as quickly as we can, so if there is some people that want virtual.
Yeah, do a survey and then just
survey and get it back.
post the results.
And, I'm kind of a traditional guy.
All right.
All right, can we get a motion to approve that calendar?
I make a motion.
Second.
A motion second, to approve the calendar for 21-22. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, approval of Cleveland School District to enter into partnership with Delta State University to gather data on effectiveness of DSU teacher preparation program and recent graduates in the school system. What y'all doing, interviewing student teachers?
It's a case study, I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's a case study, that DSU has had for about 3 years, and so their recent graduates, which are mostly at, the high school, they track them just to track the effectiveness of their program. And so, they track them with their lessons, observations, things of that nature. And so this is the last year for that case study, and so we just need to, get the approval to finish it up.
To do it again.
Do it again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval for Vision Research Corporation to conduct Mississippi eye screening for all kindergarten students with no cost to the school or parents. They will be taking COVID-19 screening precautions. They do that every year, don't they? Same people. All right, can I get a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Get a second?
I second.
Been motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, discussion table MSBA policy review report, see attachments.
MSBA, completed that, review of all our policies that was approved a while back. And so you have the letter that they wrote, and then the spreadsheet of just an overview of their recommendations, and then the strike-throughs and highlights of what it should look like. So that's the full package.
And I know you're gonna take it.
Cause it's so long.
I know
I
you're gonna
looked at
take
it,
it.
it's long.
So I know you're gonna take it.
All right, can I get a motion to table?
I so moved.
Been
I
motion and
tried.
second, all those in favor of the table?
Aye.
Ah,
Opposed? Ayes have it.
The only issue we got is, I know that they're taking a statewide policy on some of these things, and, that's always been the hardest part is, it's not customized to your specific district. It covers everything.
Covers everything else thought about.
And if you wanna break it up into work sessions, and we can just kinda see.
yeah, we're gonna have to, I really truly, that's what I want, I don't wanna be
Well,
dumb to the fact of what policy drives this district, I need to know, I'm
Yeah.
new at this.
and I'll tell you for the people that don't know, we have over 400 policies, that govern the district. So we take policies every year and we review policies every year. That's part of what we have to do every year as myself and the board. As the board has to review policies. And, I agree with Mr. Boggs as to say, sometimes you get the policy and it's a hindrance to your district. And so you can tweak the policy to make it fit what you're trying to do for your district. And to keep it in mind, I am not the person that creates policy. I follow policy
We
that's
do.
created by the board.
We
So
do.
when we run into things and we need to tweak a policy, we can tweak the policy and just get it approved per the board, and we can go from there.
There's always an unintended consequence.
There is.
Scenario that you never think of.
Never think about it.
So they have.
Until it happens.
Yeah,
Our policies don't need to tie our hands behind our back.
I agree.
To do what we need to do. So y'all need to have read through these and make sure that they're what we need to do.
I probably need a work
Because that's
session.
the recommendation we're giving y'all. Have y'all read all these?
I have,
You have?
You understand them all?
and MSBA recommendations, but I'd be the first to say, I didn't go to law school. And
Okay.
I can understand, I can follow what's.
I saw a lot of,
But the legal hand,
The lawyer's not read all of these policies. I mean, you've got 12 sections of policies. I remember when we've done this in the past, we took them by chunk and section. So that could be an idea, although you want to make sure if there's something that's really pressing, that is a change in the law, that you need to go ahead and implement, that needs to be
Or that
implemented.
changes our existing policy.
and that was
Something-
noted in the notes too from MSBA.
That's
why
what we
don't
wanted
we-
to in the past. Well, this was our policy, and then you pull the policy, and it's not your policy.
yeah,
Because this we approved this, and it trumps the previous policy
It's
you
like the
had.
policy we just approved on student teachers.
That you, yes, so why
So
don't,
we make sure what we wanna do and what we need to do and what we've been doing is consistent with what our policy says we're gonna do.
but it is good for y'all to take them chunk by chunk, and then you can really study them.
really
and-
understand them.
Right, but why don't we, Earl and I can take a look at the policies as a whole, and then if there's things that we need to implement immediately, and we can call those out, and still go over them in, little chunks, because I think it'd be good for y'all to read each section
I agree.
as you go, but there may be things we need to go ahead and do.
We've tabled, y'all come up with a plan
Yes.
presented to us.
All right. Request for HVAC engineers, Shaker Road, Eco Environmental LLC to provide coordination services to provide engineering bid documents with professional engineer stamp to replace HVAC units and install GPS needle point bipolar ionizers for the remediation of COVID for the CSD buildings. Who knows what that is?
Mr. Harrington?
So basically, they're gonna spec this out for us to put out for bid.
You gotta get the
contract.
ionizer.
Yes, sir.
They're basically gonna come up with our specs,
That's correct.
okay, so that when we put it out for bid, it'll be what we need it to do.
That's correct. And we plan on, touching every building that we have in the district, with this extra money, working, changing our HVAC, and also installing the bipolar ionizer. I do have the owner of the company, Mr. Kennington, here, if you have any more questions or concerns that, but I think this is.
What is a bipolar ionizer?
Bipolar ionizers.
You say bipolar, I think something wrong.
Okay, no. But
Don't
what,
have nothing.
Short synopsis.
Good evening, I'm Rob Kennington from Grenada, Mississippi.
Okay,
Chiro is 100% minority owned. My wife owns it, veteran operated.
so you work for her, okay.
I probably spent about 20 years in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over the last 30. But, an ionizer, what is it? It's a little bar, it's about that long. It's got two little ion generators that sit on the top. It's got a little, looks like a whirlybird, that spins once every 3 days. What does it do? It produces an ion plasma. An ion is a positive or negative charged particle. You run into them every day outside in nature, but you don't run into them inside because we're in a filtered environment. What it does, it produces an ion plasma. It fills up your air conditioning duct. When air flows through, it attaches to the coronavirus, cold, flu, Legionnaire's disease, most of the known viruses. It'll attach to it, starve it for nitrogen, and kill it.
Okay.
You guys may have been doing a lot of spraying. You've seen people with
Yeah.
misters. You won't have to do that anymore. It'll eliminate the need for that. We've had 3 clients, we continue to spray on a minimal basis, simply because it makes the employees, the students, and the teachers and the faculty feel better. They see people out with the sprayers, they think you're doing something. But within 30 minutes of them going active in your system, we'll put it in your air conditioning duct right before normally your intake fan, because that's where you're gonna get most of your fresh air coming in, and it'll distribute it throughout your system. All the buildings, it's measurable. We'll leave you with an instrument. I'll leave Mr. Harrington with an instrument. He can go into the room, tell you how many ions you have per cubic centimeter. We'll also tell you how many you need to kill the virus. We came over the last 3 weeks. We laid hands on every air conditioner in this district. We looked at every one of them. We know what they are. I gave him a detailed estimate on what the total project was going to run. I think it was somewhere around $3 million.
3.6.
That's the ionizers, that's the engineering, and it's also replacing all the HVAC systems that Mr. Harrington indicated he wanted to replace. But they will solve your problem with COVID.
Was that all the AC unit or HVAC units in the district?
Yeah, that was every building we went to on the HVAC unit that need to be changed out, because some are new. For example, like parks, we just installed 7 more. That's the.
So on those units, will there be this device put on the older units?
Yes, sir.
Older, I mean, in a year or 2.
Yes, sir.
The tornado got those apart.
Right, the first, because we broke it down in 3 phases. You know, the first phase, we're looking at putting the bipolar ionizer on all the units. And then the second phase, when we go to change the HVAC units out, those bipolars that's in the old unit will be switched over to the new units we have changed out.
Right.
And then the third will be units that we have to wait on the lead time, because some of them will have to be produced.
Your big air handlers that are associated with the chillers, those type systems, that's what's gonna require the majority of engineering. Changing out a rooftop package unit, that requires no engineering at all. We'll just need, there'll be 3 bids. One will be for your ionizer. The next will be for what I call your over-the-counter units, your 3 to 12 ton rooftop units, 5 to 20 ton package units that you could bring up church, TriStar, anybody in could replace those in a hurry for you. And the third phase is those that require long lead time. And that'll require probably a separate bid to go through that.
Oh,
Okay, you're talking about bids, but this is requesting $3.6 million.
That's the estimate on your system.
Okay, so
The engineering-
you're not asking for money, you just want to approve, us to approve him to
Right,
do
yeah,
the
just-
engineering of it.
Right, the 3 points is just an estimate.
The 3 point,
We're gonna put up a bid,
Right, it's gonna have to go out for bid.
it will go out for bid. You're just approving us to do the engineering, which there is a fee in there. It's not,
$293,000.
It says 8% of
So
whatever it is.
8%.
I guess that's where I was headed. The $293,000 in here for coordination and engineering fees.
that includes the fees.
And that's for, you're the engineer on this?
You and Kessler and their engineers will be, I work with them.
So this price you got on here is 8% of the 3.6?
Correct.
That's typical, yes.
Is that the dollar amount we're asked to approve?
That's just the estimated amount.
I understand,
Right.
but our vote's gonna be yes or no.
Yes.
I think the
So,
only
yes,
thing
you
you would
want-
be approving would be the engineering of it.
The 298,000.
Yes, ma'am.
I think I'm still a little confused.
Do we have to put this out for bid?
Yes.
Yes, you gotta put it on.
Yeah, we have to, we have to,
We got to wait till we get the bids in, then we'll pay the engineer.
Is that the way it goes?
That the process we going through? Or we agreeing to pay $293,000?
Without no price.
No, how it works is, there's nothing to bid until, engineered drawings get produced by someone. And that's, that's the process.
Let's back up just a little further than that.
Correct.
We have submitted, Dr. Belcher, if I'm right, we have submitted to be able to use this CARES money for this.
That's what we're submitting that. We gotta submit a
So
report by
if we
Thursday.
approve this tonight, we owe that man $293,000. If they say, no, you can't use that for HVAC back in these systems, we still owe that man $293,000.
So we need to wait till we hear something, right?
Am I right? Am I thinking right?
Yes.
Based
So
on
it's-
the recommendation that's coming to us.
okay, can we do it pending, ESSER,
We
approval?
can do it with some, let me ask this lawyer over here. I'm not gonna vote to pay him something, and he's gonna do the work, he's gonna do the work, he's gonna expect to get paid.
Well,
They tell us we can't do HVACs.
We just put in $600 and something thousand worth of these for Holmes Junior College, funded with CARES Act money. The ionizers and HVAC improvements are specifically listed in all the COVID legislation that's just been passed.
Does Holmes Junior College, who do we have to submit this to?
MDE.
Do they come under MDE?
No.
Okay.
Well, same funding stream.
I think you understand my thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
I don't
too.
think I'm being way out of line about anything here. I understand that.
And not saying no, we
No,
just,
no,
we got
We
this
can,
clear.
we can approve on approval from the MDE.
Lawyer.
so, well, one thought is, it's
From the MDE, they gotta approve it.
8% of the contract price, but if the amount goes up, that necessarily will go up, so that's an issue there. So I guess what I'm just pointing out is that the 293,000 could be significantly
It's going on
more
what the
depending on the
project
project is.
It's a percentage.
And then I certainly would, say that since your funding is in question at this time, you could make it contingent on that. And while engineering proposals do not have to be bid out, you can get other proposals.
I'm not questioning engineering, I'm questioning the fact that we don't
You don't have the cash
we
in
don't
hand.
have this approved yet.
It's not a done deal.
It's
But
not in our
if
budget.
we approve it, it approves it for him to do it.
Correct. So he's gonna have to do this work to move the ball along.
Right.
When will you find out about the CARES money?
We gotta submit it. Yeah, we gotta submit it on the 30th, but by 30th.
You don't know when they will approve it, after April 30th.
Okay, we approve it with approval from CARES money, MDE.
As long as the lawyer says we can.
Why can't we just table it?
I was just about
Why
to
can't we
say
just
that.
table it until
Will
we
that,
get
will
the
that,
extra
will that slow
I
you
was-
down if we table this?
I was just.
We table it for a month.
I'm I mean, we can start whenever you guys give us the go-ahead.
Well, I'm not saying no, I'm just, I think you understand where we're at.
Absolutely.
And even though you sit home, junior college, we don't fall on the same umbrella, basically.
And would y'all, typically, we have a contract in place to approve. I know we have a bid, a quote. Do you all typically provide a contract?
We can work under a purchase order, a signed proposal, or a contract.
Well, with the bid, I mean, with.
Well, let's table this, let them get all that shit.
Yeah, this-
Then we'll go back to it.
So you make the motion?
Well, make a motion to table.
I second it.
Been motion, second table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, can I get a motion to consider executive session?
I make a motion to consider.
Can I get a second? Been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Stated reasons for executive session is student misconduct, personnel, legal matters, roof claims, and storm shelter update. Can I get a motion to go into executive session for those stated reasons?
I make the motion to go into executive session for state reasons.
Been motion second to go in there for stated reasons. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll take a 5-minute break.